viewers. Why, welcome. Welcome to another video. This is yours truly again, the Cassette Master, here to present to you another video. This video's content is going to be a very interesting thing that you can do. And this is something that I first attempted back when I was a kid in roughly the 3rd or so grade. Or maybe 4th, around there. But was not very successful at it in those days. This project, an idea, is to convert a pen into a mechanical pencil. Many of you may know already that I'm a pencil maniac, and that I dig mechanical pencils with a 10-foot shovel. But when it comes to pens, I just could care less. I'm just not into pens, just pens aren't my thing. Of course, there are some pens whose bodies are nice, but there's one problem. They're a pen, and there's not a pencil version available. Take the Paper-Mate Inkjoy. Now, at my work, I'm required to use pens, so I have a couple Inkjoys that serve me well at the workplace. But when it comes to other use where I like a pencil, I wish I had a pencil version of the Inkjoy. I really like the style of the body, the coloring and everything. I just don't like the fact that it's a friggin' pen and there's not a pencil available. So let's convert this into a mechanical pencil. Here displayed are some writing utensils. Of course, in the middle is the Inkjoy pen with its nice blue color, rubbery grippy way going all the way up, and just neat looks overall. It does write well, and I do like how it contains a lot of ink in its cartridge, useful for using frequently. Here is the Pilot Coleto mechanical pencil. This is a very special writing utensil whose parts are each sold separately. I ordered the parts for this one on jetpens.com. I used to have an eraser in this one, but I've since replaced it with a 0.3mm mechanical pencil cartridge. 0.3mm mechanical pencil, 0.5, as well as blue ink, red ink, and black ink. Because each part is sold separately, you can buy mechanical pencil modules by themselves, such as this 0.5mm mechanical pencil module. So I'll open this up and you'll see a 0.5mm mechanical pencil within the form factor of a pen. By actuating it like this, you can click the lead out. This is a tube that it's in during shipping, which may be useful later. For the conversion, of course, this top part will not be needed, so it will be removed. Simply apply enough force and it will pop off. You can also see that the leads are easily accessible this way, but that is not how one wants to go about replacing the leads in a Coleto. But that's beside the point. Now let us disassemble the Paper-Mate Inkjoy pen. You unscrew the end, yielding the standard spring and pin end. You can see it holds quite a lot of ink. It's even fatter than a lot of pen cartridges. It will be saved to refill any other Paper-Mate Inkjoys that need a refill. The old mechanism I can take out temporarily and show you. Here's the pin advancement interlock mechanism. We don't want it to interlock though while clicking out LEDs. But I don't think it will be an issue. Now this is my first time trying this and I'm doing it on video, so it'll be an interesting thing to do. I know that if I put the mechanical pencil into the pen ending, you can see it sticks out and is able to have the lead clicked out by simply pushing on it. The main thing in this conversion is that I want to be able to not have it stick out this far, but have it stick out, say, only this far. So I have to find something inside that's just the right size to hold it back just a little bit. Then I'd also want the length to be right. Let's compare the length of these two modules. You can see the pen is considerably longer than the pencil, so something's going to have to be put into the back to hold it in place. Now, the size of this pencil goes in here pretty nicely, although it still has some room to move. But obviously that goes back too far for what we want to do. Now, while I'm doing this conversion, I'm going to have the lead removed so it doesn't accidentally fall out. Though I have reason to believe it already has fallen out, and I did not realize it did, because I don't see any lead anywhere. It must be sitting around somewhere, who knows. So you can see here approximate lengths that I'm working with here, how much the pencil I want to jettison out of the pen's body, and the length of the pencil module, and the approximate length of the pen's clicker sticking out of the top of the pen. Ignore the spring. So we're going to have some kind of piece to go in between here to make the length just right. So what I have done is I have found another pen. Matter of fact, this is from the Coleto. I ordered more ink because I ran out of blue ink because I was using it so much at work, and so what we have is an empty pen ink container as well as the pen tip. Of course, the pen tip we're not going to bother with, but we're just interested in the empty ink container. Of course, one from a standard pen should also work, the more typical thinner one, because I think this size is pretty standard. And we find that if we put the little pusher here that came out of the Inkjoy, we put this ink tube inside, you can see it actually gets in there pretty snug. It's at the edge there, it has more friction and it holds in nicely. So that means it's good to hold it in like that. So what we'll do is we'll do a distance test, or a sizing test. So we'll find out how far should we cut the pen, the old pen ink container, to make it a properly sized extender for the pencil. What we're also going to do is very approximate here, is we're going to get another Inkjoy and we're going to use that as a reference. Here we have the two Inkjoy pins lined up together. And from that we can see just how much we need this. Of course, hate it when this happens. So we got to make sure the things are lined up perfectly, of course. Here's this here. Because precision is key. And then we want the pencil. You know, like that. Okay. So we have these lined up pretty well. And then we're going to get a Sharpie and make a mark as to where we want to the ink cartridge. Of course, we're probably going to give it a little bit extra room at first. Just so I want to give it just a little bit of extra room there, because you can have something that's too big, but if you go too small, that can be a problem. So have that there, and then we will cut that to size. Let's get our scissors here and cut this to size here. I'm going to put that inside. Now, this is just going to be a test. This isn't going to be the final conversion, although it may be semi-working. But we want to make it more reliable, and we want to make it size just right, more precise. But we're going to take this now. You can see here, the module here. We got the clicker, we got the mechanism here, which is being kept because of how nicely it holds. And also, I don't believe that this will be pushed down far enough during each click of the pencil to actually engage the latch mechanism. So we'll put that in, and from getting the Coleto pencil, we'll just use this as a tool to push it in all the way. And you can see through there, perhaps you can kind of see it in there. And then we get the pencil and put that in the end of the pin piece, and of course these probably won't be lined up perfectly. They aren't. So that's the next step, is to line these up. So one idea is to get this and stick it inside as kind of a helper. To keep it aligned, so it can only click in the right place. So I have more than one of these things. Let me get another one here, because I want to keep this one's length. Let's just cut it to about this point here, so right around here. Don't worry, I have another one. Now, if we take this out, get the size again, we can then put this in. You can see how it's going to go inside. This isn't the final implementation. I'm just basically going to test it at first. Of course, if it slides down, we're out of luck. We actually want it to be longer. Let's use the other piece here. Murphy's Law, you know. But let's try that though. Put that in. Let's get the longer one. Use it as a tool. Put this one in. This is basically to check to make sure our sizes are good. You can see I made the pencil didn't go inside the thing actually. Oh yes, it did. So I made the pin piece way too long. I need to... No, I didn't. Oh, yes, I did. So now it's just a matter of trial and error, is to keep cutting it down little by little until it is right. Let's try it out now. It's still just a little too long. It sort of clicked, but it's... You can tell it's going to work. I just gotta make it just a just a tad, maybe about a millimeter or around a millimeter. Very small amount shorter. Let's try that for size. And then I'll get the pencil module, we'll get the end of the pen, and we will insert that in. Now, there it is. This is obviously I could have made it just a hair longer. Just a smidgen. But then again, I want to push the pencil in more, so I'll probably end up having to actually make it even shorter. As long as I can have a way to hold the pencil in more, that is. But you can see it actually is a pencil now. I can actually click the lead out. This is going to be my first writing test with the initially converted Inkjoy pencil. Of course, has a lot more give than I want. So that's something where I'm going to try to improve. But this is just the first implementation of it. Of course, I should be able to improve it with a little bit of more playing about with it, but let's see how this works. Wow. That's pretty awesome right there. Wow. That is pretty buggin' awesome right there. That, even just for the simple doing right there without getting this exactly precise and just using that little piece inside to hold it in place, this actually works remarkably well. I'm quite pleased with this accomplishment. Of course, I'm going to try to make it a little bit better, but we do have a working Inkjoy mechanical pencil that's pretty freaking awesome, to say the least. Of course, I will be back with trying to improve its operation, just to kind of tweak it a bit, make it more precise. But even already as it is, it works great as a mechanical pencil. I think that's pretty buggin' awesome. So my first step, something that's not required but something I'd like to do, is of course, as I was saying earlier, to make the pencil not stick out this far, but maybe more something like this far. If this doesn't work, we'll just move on to the other steps. But anyway, knowing how I am with tape recorders, I've amassed quite a few tape recorder pieces, and one of them is this little piece right here, which may have had an idler wheel on it at some point. But I found that the inner diameter of this little ring here actually fits this very nicely. So I'm going to try cutting a piece off carefully that I can then use for my pencil. I want to cut off a longer one first, which can then be cut into shorter pieces. Maybe I shouldn't be using scissors for this job. Try using a knife. I thought this would be a lot easier. to cut than it really is. I might not be able to do this part like I wanted to be honest. Wire strippers have seemed to do the trick. Of course, it's not perfect, but it's maybe good enough. So I know this is going to be too long, and probably by the time I cut it to a shorter amount, it just won't work at all. Matter of fact, I can't even get it on the thing anymore. I have to get it to size. Probably a lot of this stuff will be edited out. That's plainly way too big. I'll try cutting it down again, but if this doesn't work, then I don't think this will be a viable option. But it's worth trying. Let's make it into a little ring. Get it around the shaft of the pencil. And the problem we now see is the outer diameter of this is too big to allow this to even go into the pin body. So this whole particular mod is of having it not stick out as far proves to be practically impossible. So we'll have to have it stick out like that then. Oh well, it's worth trying. But continuing, we still can make this into a pencil. We showed it earlier. We've just got to get to the sizing of everything just right. So we're going to get a small piece from the cut off from it to make it just a little bit bigger. Put that in there. And let's push that just a little bit more now. Put that into the pin's body. Push it in with the tool. This thing is extremely useful. Ridiculously useful. And then check it for sizing first. Put the body back in. Is it really? I have a hard time believing it. Oh, I know what is going on. That. See, it's still just so slightly too big. Just a smidgen. Oh, no telling where that went. Oh. Now we get electrical tape. Oh, crap. I left my nice electrical tape at work. Oh. Really wanted to use that. Wow. Wonderful Murphy. So we get our electrical tape here. We want these to be joined perfectly. Idiot. Really doesn't make a difference anyway, whether that light on or not. So now we roll it up very carefully. Occasionally we want to check to make sure that the diameter of it being taped does not exceed the inner diameter of the tube. Otherwise we have too much electrical tape around it. We want it so the electrical tape is wide enough that it doesn't permit any possibility of the pencils, or the cartridges going in a zigzag pattern inside and then pushing the pencil off to the side and making it where the lead can't advance out. So it looks like we have enough electrical tape around there. So we're going to go ahead and snip off the excess. Here is our mechanism now, which is merely the pencil mechanism extended. Due to the size variation needing to be very close for me. I have a tiny piece of extra pin piece stuck in the end of this to make the sizing just right. Let me put that on. Then we get this here. And we slide it in place. We push it in with the tool. Push it in as far as it will go. So that's the part that's the most tricky, is getting the extender sized perfectly. I now have it sized just right. I now have an Inkjoy mechanical pencil. A successful conversion. The key things are that you need is the Coleto mechanical pencil refill, an old pen that you can use the tubing from, and then the tube that comes with the Coleto mechanical pencil refill, to use both as a tool and as something that is inside to help keep the pen and pencil from help to keep them lined up so they don't do this. The old pen tube and the pencil tube. The electrical tape is used to hold them aligned together and is fat enough so that it does not allow it to move like that inside the Coleto outer tubing like this. To refill it, just hold down and add a new lead in. You can get the Coleto 0.5mm or the Coleto 0.3mm. Imagine a 0.3mm Paper-Mate Inkjoy. Okay, here we have it. A converted Inkjoy. Here's the Inkjoy pen. And here is the pencil companion. You can see it's been converted to a pencil. Hey, well, I hope you enjoyed this video on converting the Inkjoy pen by Paper-Mate into the Inkjoy Pilot Combo branded 0.5mm mechanical pencil. Isn't it much better as a pencil? I think so.